Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Mattson Heiner.
Better red than dead.
Javier Ortiz.
What is up, my nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
Do you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie? We're here to answer that question for you. Each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. To check out our other episodes, if you're watching us on YouTube, the link's in the description down below. This is our spoiler-free review. Our deep dive reviews are available every Monday wherever fine podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And as always, it's completely free to watch or listen. Today we're reviewing Nobody. It was released March 26, 2021. It was written by Derek Kolstad. It was directed by Ilya Nyashuler. Stars Bob Odenkirk, Alexei Serebryakov, Connie Nielsen, Christopher Lloyd, and RZA. A bystander who intervenes to help a woman being harassed by a group of men becomes the target of a vengeful Russian mobster. If this is your first time joining us, we will rate this movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should definitely find a way to watch this movie now. Stream it. You can wait and watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you should not watch this movie at all. With that being said, let's jump right into our spoiler-free. Javier, let's start with you.
Guys, this movie was awesome. This was one of the coolest movies we've seen in the last year. This movie was insane. There were parts of this movie that I enjoyed more than John Wick. And that is the most blasphemous thing I've ever said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we have to wait for after the spoiler free because I really want to know what those
I
are.
was going to say, I'm excited for the deep dive to find out what parts those were.
Oh, yeah. Cool movie. I was skeptical about Odenkirk. Is that the main character?
Bob Odenkirk, yeah.
Yeah, I went into this very skeptical. And he did a great job, I thought. I think this is worth it. I think you need to pay any amount of money that they're asking for. And you need to sit down and watch this movie because it is awesome. I will say this, though. There are almost shot-for-shot remakes of John Wick, it seems like. Like, the beginning of both movies start at the end of the movie and then bring you back. You've got a dog in John Wick and a cat for some reason in this movie. You've got like fights in houses. You've got fights in like workplaces. Like, yeah, there is a lot of similarities. Like, it was not very creative, but it was awesome.
That's fair. All right, so worth it from Javier. Nobody's shocked, at least in this group. Mattson, go ahead.
Yeah. As I told JJ watching this yesterday, enjoyed this movie as well. I mean, if you're looking for an action movie that's slightly confusing and you're not really sure where it's going, but then it goes places, you're going to like this movie a lot. And I think it's a combination between John Wick meets Equalizer meets Home Alone. And when you watch this movie, all those things will make sense. I think they took stuff from John Wick, certainly with some of the gunfighting, and then they took stuff from the Equalizer with the way that he prepares the battle
barbed
scene.
Wire. What is with these movies and barbed wire, dude?
Javier knows exactly what I'm talking about with that. And then just Home Alone-esque because of some of the traps he makes and everything, like the rebar launcher.
Cannon? That was awesome.
Like, it's so excessively amazing. Anyways, this movie's a little outlandish in some senses, but it works, and it's like a quirky killer.
I would add like Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, where it's like they have inappropriately gleeful music at certain times in this movie.
Yeah. And I want to say, as I told JJ when we were watching this, one of the most perfect renditions of what everyday life would look like from a reality TV perspective when this movie starts about like Monday, Tuesday, because nobody's life is that interesting. And this movie was one of the first times I was like, you know what? They jump cut through all of that because my Monday through Friday ain't anything to be happy about. It's just the same thing every day.
How does he miss the trash every Tuesday? Right, like you would just have a stockpile of trash.
I was thinking the same thing.
Marital problems right there. And she called him out on it. But again, I think it's fun. I think it's quirky. There's definitely some cool action scenes. It certainly isn't the most well-made movie I've seen, but is it darn entertaining? Absolutely. I would say it's worth watching this movie if you like action movies.
So you giving it a worth it then or stream it?
Worth it.
All right. Ian.
So I came into this movie fully expecting to not be impressed by it. Not the not impressed level, but more just I feel like it's been overdone. We've watched a lot of Equalizer, John Wick, even like The Killers, these kind of sleeping assassins that get pulled back into
Extraction.
what they get to. Yeah. Extraction. So I was fully expecting not to like this, but I ended up enjoying it way more than I thought I would. The way they went about it, this movie has some great one-liners that I really enjoyed that you may like if you like those one-liners. But other than that, it's just all the stuff that's been said before. Like I think it's worth it. $20 seems a little steep, but if you get a group of people together to watch it and kind of split the cost, it's definitely worth it.
Wow. I don't know what to do right now. Like, I feel like
Gonna
the
try
odd
and
man
Choose
out.
your words wisely is what you should
Otherwise,
do.
we're gonna shoot you with a rebar cannon.
Yeah, I am going to choose my words very wisely right now. Look, the movie's entertaining. It's fun. It's short, which I absolutely love. There's very few things that I love more than an action-packed 90-minute movie and you're done. Especially because if you try to drag a movie out like this any longer, it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason to do it. So I love that they kept it within their 90-minute window. It's very short. With that, though, there are a couple things that I had issue with. I think they overdid the introduction part of it. Like, I think you had 20 minutes too long.
Yeah, considering how short this movie is, no
Yeah.
action started for like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's 20, 25 minutes before you get, like you said, Javier, before you get any kind of real action. And I feel like that was too much. I think they could have maybe had the intro to where everything gets firing up be 10 minutes long and actually add another 10 or 15 minutes of the brutal action in this movie to lengthen it, have some of these scenes last a little longer, introduce another scene maybe, which I don't usually say things like that, but the action's fun. The fight scenes, the shootouts, it's all entertaining and very well done. So I think they could have done that a little different. There's some very confusing things that happen with the family, which we'll talk about in the deep dive, that I didn't like. Like, there were some conversations that led me to believe certain things at the beginning with his wife, and then I was like, wait, so hold on, that's not what that's going on. So there were some things that confused me as far as that went, that led me to go. But then you forget about him when the action actually gets started. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll move on and let that shit go. So it is fun. It is a fun movie. Wow, it's tough. I can't say that I would pay $20 to watch this movie again. So I can't give it a worth it. I just can't, because right now it costs you $20 to see it. Or now, however, if you're comfortable and you have the ability to go watch this movie in the theater, I will give the caveat for $7 or $8, or $10, I'd probably go see it and say that it's worth it. But I wouldn't pay $20 again. So for me, it's a stream it, but it's definitely worth watching. It's a fun movie. It's entertaining, but I wouldn't feel like I missed out on anything if I'd waited 2 more weeks and watched it for free, or for $6 instead of 20. So that's me. Yeah. So I think there's close to a full body worth it we've gotten. I don't know that we've had a 4-banger worth it in a I'd have to go back and watch, but 3 worth it's in a stream it. Definitely go watch this movie. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's violent. It's funny.
It's so violent.
It's very violent.
It's out of control violent.
Yeah. For a first movie that they set up for some sequels, it's like John Wick 3 level violence. So
yeah, they skipped the foreplay and just went straight for.
And no puppies were harmed in the making of this movie.
That's fair too. That is fair. Yeah, so we are going to dive into our deep dive again, which for this movie will be available on the 19th of April. So we're recording this on a Sunday, so it'll be available tomorrow. So go check that out. It's going to be a fun conversation, I think. So yeah, Mattson, tell them where they can find us.
You can find us wherever good podcasts are found: Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Ghana. Check out our YouTube channel right here where you're already listening. Check out our website to know what's upcoming in our next slate of movies. And I know JJ especially is psyched about what's coming up, and we are too. So a lot of good things to come.
Yeah, very excited. And next week, speaking of that, since we're here and we're going to be doing spoiler free for that one as well, Mortal Kombat. We'll be doing a spoiler free for the new Mortal Kombat movie next week. So I'm really excited for that because, and we'll talk about this when we review it, I'm sure, but I hated the original Mortal Kombat movies that they did back in the 90s. So
I like the first one.
Ugh. But I've been a diehard Mortal Kombat game fan for my whole life. So it's one of the very first video games I ever played when I owned my own console. Anyway, we can talk about all that next week. So join us for that. Yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. Check us out with our deep dive tomorrow, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!